Not to indulge in any alcohol, drugs, sex after 12, or any other illegal activity.
Not my shadow.
Later, baby. Found that in your glove compartment, man.
And you know you're the third person who's given me this today? God.
But what do you reckon you're gonna do?
I don't know, man. I'll probably end up signing it. I just don't want to give in so easy.
Man, it's the same bullshit they tried to pull in my day. You know, if it ain't that piece of paper, some other choice they're gonna try and make for you. You gotta do what Randall Pink Floyd wants to do, man. And let me tell you this, the older you do get, the more rules are gonna try to get you to follow. You just gotta keep living, man. L-I-V-I-N.
Man, if you're gonna sign that paper, man, you should throw a little grass right in the middle, man. Roll it up, sign the joint, man. That's gonna tell them something.
That's what I'll do. Yeah. Assholes.
Yeah, so what?
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Thompson will not speak to you tonight. His time is up. For years you've asked, who was John Galt? You've asked that question in despair and resignation as factories closed, goods became scarce, jobs disappeared. Your lives are becoming more difficult as the life force of your world is draining away. You have asked that question without expecting an answer. I'm here to answer it. This is John Galt speaking. Mr. Thompson won't tell you the truth about the crisis in your world. I will. Have you noticed that as everything around you seems to decline, one thing still grows? It is the power of your rulers. None of their plans and directives have solved your problems or made your life better. The only result has been their increased control over you at the cost of your freedom. Do you know why? You gave them the power. They called for your sacrifice, and you thought it was noble. They said if you worked for yourself and your family, that you were selfish and uncaring, and they made you feel ashamed. They denounced the leaders of industry as greedy exploiters, the Ellis Wyatts, the Hank Reardons, and again, you agreed. And then you ask, why did they and others like them disappear? I took them from you. Their achievements flowed from their creative minds. Once they understood that the attempt to control their work was an attempt to control their minds, they left. The people on strike worked for themselves, for their own vision of what was possible. When they recognized the honor they deserved, they rebelled against the guilt you wanted them to feel for their success. You counted on them to keep producing, to keep thinking, even as you denounced them as selfish. I showed them they were being punished for their own virtues, and I showed them how evil that is. I made it my mission to help these heroes say no. All evil needs to win is the consent of good people. They have joined me to freely produce, trade, cooperate, and compete in a place where the rights of all are protected. Do not try to find us. Do not try to bargain for our return. Get out of our way. To everyone within the range of my voice, you now have a choice to make. If you decide to support the notion of sacrifice enforced by the state, your game is up. Your world is in a downward spiral, and you will ride it down to destruction. But if you share the values of our strike, if you believe that your life is a sacred possession for you to make the most of, if you want to live by the judgment of your own mind, not edicts from the state, then follow our lead. Do not support your own oppressors. Stop letting the system exploit you. Form your own communities on the frontiers of your crumbling world. Your rulers hold you by your endurance to carry the burdens they impose, by your generosity when you hear cries of despair, and above all, by your innocence which cannot grasp the depths of their evil. The world you are living in is the world they wanted. Leave them to it. Those who have left you are eager to build a better world, a world of freedom and opportunity, a world based on mutual respect. In that world, you will rise in the morning with the spirit you knew in childhood, the spirit of eagerness and adventure, and the confidence that the world is what it is and is there for you to discover. In that world, you will not receive alms, nor pity, nor forgiveness of sins, but honor, respect, and justice. Don't let the fire go out spark by irreplaceable spark in confusion and despair. Be sure of your path. The world you desire can be won. It exists. It is real. It is possible. It is yours.
And who knows, we'll see what happens. But I did see one interesting thing, and I don't know anything about this guy. Apparently this guy's the president or prime murderer of Brazil. His name Bolsonaro. And I don't know anything about him, but I saw this. This came from one of his sort of like cabinet meetings. It was leaked information. I thought this was pretty good.
A gente vai se aproximando de quem não deve. Eu já tenho que policiar no tocante a isso daí. São pessoas aqui em Brasília, dos três poderes, que não sabem o que é povo. Eu converso com alguns, não sabem o que é um feijão com arroz, não sabem o que é um supermercado, esqueceu. Depois ver uns merda para falar aí, né? Uns merda de sempre. Ah, o cara rompeu o isolamento, tá dando um pé. Até pensei pro cacete, pô, tá passando fome, tá na merda. Sentiu o cheiro de povo. Como é fácil impor uma ditadura no Brasil, como é fácil. O povo tá dentro de casa. Por isso que eu quero, ministro da Justiça e ministro da Defesa, que o povo se arme. Que é a garantia que não vai ter um filho para impor uma ditadura aqui. Que é fácil impor uma ditadura. Facílimo. Do prefeito, faz um bom no decreto, algema e deixa todo mundo dentro de casa. Se tivesse armado, ia pra rua. Prefeitinho lá no fim do mundo, um jaguaproca do prefeito, manda prender. Tem que a justiça se posicionar sobre isso, pô. Tem que se posicionar sobre isso abertamente. Não admitimos prisão por parte de prefeitos no decreto. Tem que falar, não é ficar quieto. E aquele direito aqui, todos os ministros têm que falar isso aí, não é só a justiça. Todos têm que falar. Por que estão botando algema em cidadão que está trabalhando, ou mulher que está em praça pública, e a justiça não fala nada? Tem que falar, pô. Vai ficar quieto até quando? Ou eu tenho que continuar me expondo? Tem que falar, botar para fora, esculachar. Não pode botar algema. Decisão do próprio Supremo. E vão ficar quietos até quando? Ficar humilhando o nosso povo. Porque isso está crescendo. O que esses caras fizeram com o vírus, esse boca desse governador de São Paulo, esses do Rio de Janeiro, entre outros, é exatamente isso. Aproveitaram o vírus, está um prefeito lá de Manaus agora, abrindo covas coletivas. Por causa de vírus, botou esse estuprador para fora. Imagine ter estuprado uma filha nossa, um filho da p*** desse posto de liberdade. Nós temos que colocar no lugar dessas pessoas, desse pai que tenha sido estuprado, e um vagabundo foi posto na rua. Uma decisão, foda-se quem seja, tem que jogar pesado em cima disso. Porque isso está crescendo. O pessoal fica apontando para mim, votei em você para você fazer alguma coisa. Votei em você para você tomar decisões, para você brigar. E é verdade. Eu estou me lixando com a reeleição. Por favor, assine essa portaria hoje que eu quero dar um recado para esses... Por que eu estou armando o povo? Que eu não quero uma ditadura. E não dá para segurar mais. O que os caras querem é a nossa hemorroida. É a nossa liberdade. Isso é uma verdade, é escancarar a questão do armamento aqui. Eu quero todo mundo armado, que povo armado jamais será escravizado. Então, pessoal, por favor, se preocupe, que é de mais importante que a vida de cada um de vocês, que é a sua liberdade. Come preso não vale porra nenhuma.
So like I said, I don't know anything about that guy, but he sounds pretty decent. Everything he said, I totally agree with.
I solemnly ask of every man who hears this case to let his own mind pronounce a verdict upon it. You have heard the testimony of the state's witnesses. The confession of Peter Keating has made clear that Howard Rourke is a ruthless egoist who has destroyed Kirkland Homes for his own selfish motive. The issue which you are to decide is the crucial issue of our age. Has man any right to exist if he refuses to serve society? Let your verdict give us the answer. The state rests.
The defense may proceed. Honor. I shall call no witnesses. This will be my testimony and my summation.
Take the oath.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do. Thousands of years ago, the first man discovered how to make fire. He was probably burned at the stake he had taught his brothers to light, but he left them a gift they had not conceived, and he lifted darkness off the earth. Throughout the centuries, there were men who took first steps down new roads, armed with nothing but their own vision. The great creators, the thinkers, the artists, the scientists, the inventors, stood alone against the men of their time. Every new thought was opposed, every new invention was denounced. But the men of unborrowed vision went ahead. They fought, they suffered, and they paid, but they won. No creator was prompted by a desire to please his brothers. His brothers hated the gift he offered. His truth was his only motive. His work was his only goal. His work, not those who used it. His creation, not the benefits others derived from it. The creation which gave form to his truth. He held his truth above all things and against all men. He went ahead, whether others agreed with him or not, with his integrity as his only banner. He served nothing and no one. He lived for himself. And only by living for himself was he able to achieve the things which are the glory of mankind. Such is the nature of achievement. Man cannot survive except through his mind. He comes on earth unarmed. His brain is his only weapon. But the mind is an attribute of the individual. There is no such thing as a collective brain. The man who thinks must think and act on his own. The reasoning mind cannot work under any form of compulsion. It cannot be subordinated to the needs, opinions, or wishes of others. It is not an object of sacrifice. The Creator stands on his own judgment. The parasite follows the opinions of others. The Creator thinks. The parasite copies. The Creator produces. The parasite loots. The Creator's concern is the conquest of nature. The parasite's concern is the conquest of man. The Creator requires independence. He neither serves nor rules. He deals with men by free exchange and voluntary choice. The parasite seeks power. He wants to bind all men together in common action and common slavery. He claims that man is only a tool for the use of others, that he must think as they think, act as they act, and live in selfless, joyless servitude to any need but his own. Look at history. Everything we have, every great achievement has come from the independent work of some independent mind. Every horror and destruction came from attempts to force men into a herd of brainless, soulless robots without personal rights, without personal ambition, without will, hope, or dignity. It is an ancient conflict. It has another name, the individual against the collective. Our country, the noblest country in the history of men, was based on the principle of individualism, the principle of man's inalienable rights. It was a country where a man was free to seek his own happiness, to gain and produce, not to give up and renounce, to prosper, not to starve, to achieve, not to plunder, to hold as his highest possession a sense of his personal value, and as his highest virtue, his self-respect. Look at the results. That is what the collectivists are now asking you to destroy, as much of the earth has been destroyed. I am an architect. I know what is to come by the principle on which it is built. We are approaching a world in which I cannot permit myself to live. My ideas are my property. They were taken from me by force, by breach of contract. No appeal was left to me. It was believed that my work belonged to others to do with as they pleased. They had a claim upon me without my consent, that it was my duty to serve them without choice or reward. Now you know why I dynamited Cortland. I designed Cortland. I made it possible. I destroyed it. I agreed to design it for the purpose of seeing it built as I wished. That was the price I set for my work. I was not paid. My building was disfigured at the whim of others who took all the benefits of my work and gave me nothing in return. I came here to say that I do not recognize anyone's right to 1 minute of my life, nor to any part of my energy, nor to any achievement of mine, no matter who makes the claim. It had to be said. The world is perishing from an orgy of self-sacrificing. I came here to be heard in the name of every man of independence still left in the world. I wanted to state my terms. I do not care to work or live on any others. My terms are a man's right to exist for his own sake.
Ladies and gentlemen, sorry to interrupt you from your listening pleasure. I'd like to have your undivided attention, please, and please welcome the Honorable Mr. Psycho Michael to the podium. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'd like to thank Brother Clark from the Suicidal Family for that fine greeting. Anyhow, I want to jump in real quick so we can get back to the music. It's jamming. I know you know, and I know it too. But sometimes you got to go to that extra level, take another step back, and get a good running start on it. See, right now I have to get to a point most people won't go because it's a little bit too close to the truth, and the truth isn't something that's going to benefit them in the way that they want it to be. See, my dad taught me a long time ago, it's not what someone does, it's why they do it that really matters. And that's what you should judge them for. People can be the nicest person in the world, but that's only to get you to think they're nice so they can let down the guard a little bit, and you're there, and then you go in their door and they mess with your mind. Anyhow, too many people trying to get you to think the way they want you to think. What we say is trying to get you to think whatever way that may be, but to realize the way you're thinking may not be the right way and to give it a little extra thought. So with that in mind, the question is, what do we do, why we do? Everyone's got a motivation, and sometimes you got to judge that to see where their power's coming from or where they're trying to throw it. See, our motivation, being in the band, what we're trying to get across is this right here, that little extra level. You see, most people think they think, but they're not really thinking, so they stop thinking because they thought they already thought, but they never did in the first place, so it's their own little safety level. So I sit there and say, if there's all these people so smart, thinking so good, how come every day in my life there's so many damn stupid people doing stupid things? See, a wise man once told me, said, Mike, there's two clubs. There's the stupid people and the smart people. Ain't nobody blocking the door at the stupid entrance. Anyone can go there. But the smart entrance is a little more exclusive. So what do you want to belong to? The country club or the cardboard shack? The penthouse or the outhouse? Seems like an easy decision to me. So what we're all thinking about right now is what we're talking about. What we're talking about is what we're thinking about. And that's the whole point. You should think before you talk. So where we're at right now is a place that we want to go. A little bit of help. See, every day, everywhere you go, people do stupid things. 365 days out of the year, people not thinking. People that have the ability to think that aren't thinking. So what we want to do is nominate one day. Call it International Don't Be Stupid Day. Now what this is going to do is be a little reminder. Maybe we can wear a pin. Maybe you can send the tape to somebody. And when they start to do something, you say, whoa, 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 hold on there, partner. Today is Don't Be Stupid Day, so you can't do that. So what we want you to do is just take 24 hours out of your life. Think about all them dumb things that you just go right ahead and do when you know damn well you wouldn't want anyone else to do it if you really cared about them. So start caring about yourself, start using your mind, and as we say, start your brain.